Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, we can get started. So can you all confirm you can see my screen and hear me properly? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Indeed, all praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him and seek His help and forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from our soul's evil and our wrongdoings. He whom Allah guide, no one can misguide, and he whom He misguides, no one can guide. I bear witness that there is no God except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone without any partners, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is His abd and final messenger. Sending durood upon our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all with Islamic greeting. May peace and blessing be upon each and everybody who joined in. I thank you all for joining in today. So inshallah, today's session will be about big data and analytics. So moving on, let's get started. If you guys have any questions, please put it in the chat box. If you are for some reason not able to see my screen, let me know. And if you guys have a problem with audio connection, ALMPG team will help you out. Please follow the instruction in chat box. Jazakallah khair. So now moving on to our topic, why and for who is this webinar? So this webinar was conducted for people. My bad. Okay. The goal of this webinar is for the people to give them an idea about what is big data. We all are hearing about big data, artificial intelligence, analytics. What is all this about? So we thought, let's do a session where we can educate our audience or educate our members with the knowledge of what is big data, how it can be utilized, and why it is the new goal of this world. What is big data? Who can attend this webinar? Anyone who wants to learn big data, they can attend this webinar. You don't need any previous knowledge. Anybody can start from scratch. You are eligible to attend this webinar. I just want to give that that heads up, because oftentimes we get the question that do we need a previous background of database or something. If you have it, that's a plus point. But if you don't have it, that's fine. You don't need any previous. You don't need to have previous knowledge about anything to attend this webinar. So moving on. I'm going to quickly kind of lay down the webinar format. It will be a 2-hour session, and we will have a break in the middle of the session. It depends on the trainer who will be on him when to give that break. So it will be for 5 to 10 minutes, and at the end of the session we will take Q&A. 15 minutes at the end of the session will be dedicated towards question and answer. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Write it down, and then we can at the end of the session take your questions. And I also request all the audience who are putting all the chat messages, please type in only if it is required, because a lot of time it happens that people get distracted. So if it is very necessary, then only put it in the chat box. And also, I would also say respect all the other members. So by posting a lot of messages in the chat box, it might kind of distract them, the same message. So thank you so much. Let's begin. First, let me also introduce the presenter for today, Brother Suresh. He has 5+ years of experience in big data. He has been working for a lot of MNCs. Currently, he has over 2+ years of experience teaching people. So I will not introduce him further. So what I will do is now let's jump straight into it. I will pass the ball to Suresh, and he will start talking about big data, and he will give us a brief introduction about himself. All right, let's get started. Suresh, I am going to unmute you and I'm going to pass you the ball. You can start the session. Okay, Suresh, I have unmuted you. Can you try speaking?
Yeah. Hey guys, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Okay, we are
Awesome.
still waiting for you to put up your screen. So once you start your screen, I'll let you know. All right,
Yeah.
perfect. I can see your screen. I can see introduction to Hadoop. So
Yes.
let's get started. So we are logged in and loaded. You are ready to go, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go unmute. You can start now.
Sure, sure. Hello everyone. A very good afternoon. So let me introduce myself. Myself Suresh, and I'm having 5+ years of experience in IT, where I have worked across different industry verticals like insurance, banking, and then forensic investigation and dispute services, and also automation. And all my 5+ years of experience is on big data. Right from the day one, I have been started working on big data and related technologies. And currently, I'm working as a big data developer for an MNC, big data developer cum architect, and working as a freelance trainer for big data and data science for past couple of years, and trained more than 2,000 students. Yeah, and you can find you can find reviews on my course in Quora or any other online platform, right? And coming to my hobbies, I love traveling, photography, music, and exploring new technologies. I'm into machine learning these days, where I have been doing a lot of interesting stuff on machine learning using big data. So let me talk about agenda first, what we are going to discuss for next 1.5 hours, apart from your question and answer session. So to start with, I'll walk you through the course. What exactly is our course, like the duration of this course and what are the topics we are going to cover. And then I'll introduce big data to you, what exactly is big data, the term big data, and why people are going crazy for big data these days, and how the demand for big data has been increased over the years. We'll talk about those aspects, why big data, and we'll talk about 4 V's. So 4 V's are nothing but 4 characteristics of big data. We'll talk about what exactly they are, and why these 4 characteristics are considered to be characteristics of big data. And we'll talk about an analogy of big data, and we'll end our session with applications of big data. So in these applications, I'm going to explain you like what are the different areas where big data is being used in the industry, with some real-time examples, like real-time projects what I have worked on. So let me walk you through the course content first. So this is a 2-month course, guys, where week 1 starts with introduction to big data and HDFS. So if you talk about any environment or any computing environment, we are basically bothered about 2 parameters. One is storage and second one is processing. So storage comes to storage of your data, storing your data, like where exactly you're storing your data and how exactly you're storing your data, and different aspects of it. So once you have stored your data, the immediate next step would be to process it. So when I say process it, you write different applications and you use different processing technologies. Like, maybe you can stick to Java program if your data set is residing in a file, or you could stick to a SQL queries if your data is residing in a data warehouses or maybe in RDBMS. So there are different processing techniques. Hey guys, can you hear me? Yeah, awesome. So these are the two things I wanted to talk about, processing and storage. Probably once we have discussed the other topics, these walking you through this course would make more sense. So let me start with what exactly is big data, and then we'll get back to this course content. I'll walk you through each and every topic of what we are going to discuss. So this is our motivation, guys. Like if you talk about why big data is going to be the next big platform to get you a job. Like if you are looking for a job search, or if you want to upgrade your current skills, or if you want to upgrade your job, like this is going to be the best destination. Like these are the trends, job requirement trends for different skill set over the period of time from Jan 2016 to Jan 2014, and these are expected from Indeed.com. If you see for Hadoop, it's an exponential increase. I mean, the reason is pretty straightforward. The reason is just because of increase in data. So earlier we used to deal with maybe GBs of data, hardly GBs of data. I don't want to say maybe, it's hardly GBs of data. But in today's world, with the kind of data explosion, so we ended up dealing with terabytes of data, where each and every organization is generating TBs of data. If you take Facebook for example, like it's generating petabytes of data every day. If you take YouTube, it's generating petabytes of data. Any other social media platform, they are generating terabytes of data. So where this data is going, like definitely what are the traditional ecosystem tools we have wouldn't fit into store this huge amounts of data, or process this huge amounts of data. We need a better mechanism to do this. Okay, so this is a snapshot of data that is getting generated in just 1 minute, guys. Like every 1 minute, 72 hours of YouTube videos are getting uploaded, and 2.5 million pieces of content are posted on Facebook, and 26.4 thousand posts are posted on Yelp, and 48,000 applications are downloaded by Apple users alone. Okay, and 204 million emails are sent every minute. And this is a snapshot of data that is getting generated in a minute for few of the reputed sources. Now think about the data that is getting generated in a day, in 24 hours, and across all the platforms we have. Okay, so that's a huge amount of data, right? So what we are going to do, like how we are going to handle this data. So I wanted to take a historic example. So in olden days, like when you want to pull a heavy wooden log, we used to use ox. Okay. So when the size of that heavy log grows, you wouldn't try to grow the ox. Instead, you'll use multiple ox to pull that heavy log. The same scenario here. So the wooden log here is our data, and the ox here is our computing engines, or maybe computing nodes, or to keep it simple, our computers, which are processing and storing this data. Okay, so big data runs on a very simple funda: divide and conquer. As simple as that. Like when your data size is growing, instead of storing everything in a single machine and processing it in a single computer, single machine, you'll be storing it on multiple machines, and then you'll process it on multiple machines, and then you'll aggregate the results from multiple machines. As simple as that. Divide and conquer. Okay, so before getting into any other analogy or any other example, I wanted to introduce this term big data. So what exactly is big data? So people talk a lot about big data, Hadoop, big data, Hadoop. Okay, so are these two terms different, or are they same, or are they indicating, are they driving you to the same scenarios? So what you could think of about these two. So let me ask you one more question here simultaneously. When I talk about big data, introduction. Yeah, when I talk about big data, so what exactly is big data? So do we have any constraint in terms of data size? When I say any constraints in terms of data size, like is there any threshold? Like any data greater than 100 GB is called as big data, or any data maybe greater than 1 TB is called as big data, or maybe greater than 1 PB as big data? Answer would be definitely no. Okay, there is no such constraints when you want to define a big data. Okay, so big data is something a relative word. It's a relative word. So big data is something which is relative to a particular machine. So for example, I'm using a machine with i5 processor and maybe 1 TB hard disk and maybe a 16 GB RAM. So for my machine, dealing GBs of data wouldn't be a big deal. But for my machine, dealing TBs of data would be a big deal. Okay, but if you take another machine, maybe which is having a Core 2 Duo processor, maybe 2 GB RAM, and then 256 GB hard disk, for that machine, dealing with or processing with even for GBs of data would be a great deal. So even GBs of data would be considered as big data for that particular machine, and TBs of data for my machine would be big data. So this big data is a relative word. There is no such thresholds in terms of definition of a big data. So to put it in a simple format, any data which cannot be handled by a particular machine can be considered as big data for that particular machine. When I say handling, so handling is measured in terms of two parameters. One is storage and second one is processing. Okay, and I also wanted to share an interesting scenario. So I wanted to share an interesting scenario. Like 6 months back, I was attending an conference with Google folks. Okay, and then there was this guy who is talking about the problems which people usually face when they are dealing with their data. And with those problems, he categorized the data into the following categories, like data which can be collected, and cannot be processed. Okay, and data which can be collected and processed. And third one is data which cannot be collected. So these are the different types of data in the modern categorization. I'm not going into a traditional categorization of unstructured data, structured data, no. So this is the modern categorization of data. So data which can be collected and which can be processed. So this is of no interest for us. Like, yeah, you are collecting the data from whatever the source it could be and you are processing it. So we are absolutely fine with whatever we are doing over here. But coming to these two pain points, like we are collecting data, but we are not able to process it, or we have data which we are not able to collect. Okay, and then when we try to interact with the customers, why they are not able to process it, or why they are not able to collect it, the reasons from them are interesting. So few customers said that they are not able to collect the data because of the size of the data, which means that the size of the data is so huge that they cannot store that data in their existing storage or their existing environment. Okay, and second reason is the rate at which data is getting generated. So which means like they don't have a mechanism where they can where they can streamline the data which is getting generated at a rapid pace. So they didn't have a methodology or a mechanism where they can normalize the rate and store it in their ecosystem, right? And then different types of data. Sorry. And then different types of data. So what do I mean by different types of data here is, we have different types of data, like, structured data, unstructured data, and then maybe semi-structured data. And we have different sources of data, like maybe your web servers, maybe your application servers, or maybe your web streaming applications, or maybe your clickstream data. So if you want to talk about all these types of data, structured data is pretty simple. Any data which is coming from RDBMS can be considered as structured data. And coming to unstructured data, any file format data can be considered as unstructured data. And then clickstream data. So what do I mean by clickstream data here is, every time you are clicking in a particular website, you are generating data in the background, where those website guys are doing a lot of analytics on top of it. Okay, so for example, you are viewing a product in Amazon.com, and if you visit any other website, you will be seeing advertisements related to those products. So this is happening because of the data you are generating by clicking on those products. So this kind of data is called clickstream data. People do a lot of analysis on clickstream data as well, and web streaming data, like the continuous flow of data, and then data that is getting generated from sensors. So these days, sensors have become the major source or major contributors of data. So you can keep social media, you can keep any other data generating platforms aside. These big data, so these sensors are going to be the next big thing in terms of data generation, be it IoT sensors, Internet of Things, be it any other sensors. So these days, world is running on sensors. So sensors are generating a lot of data, which is a real-time data. So sensors generate data every second, every 5 seconds. So here I wanted to share another interesting use case. Like, I was working for one of my clients, Fly Emirates, and they wanted to send a real-time alert to their customers so that their customers can reach the boarding gate on time. So basically, the use case is this. So, once your security check is done, most of the delays of flights happen due to passengers not reaching the boarding gate on time. So what they wanted to do is, from the security check to boarding gate, they would install a series of beacons. So these beacons will continuously emit light waves, which would read the data from the barcode of your boarding pass. And that data would help you to locate you, where exactly you are in the airport. Okay. And based on the where exactly you are in the airport, and based on your location, we'll try to calculate how far you are from the boarding gate and what is the time left for you to board the flight. And if that doesn't match, we will immediately trigger an alert to you saying that you have to move on, else you will not be able to catch the flight. So this is one use case where we are working on data that is getting generated by sensors. Okay. So there are a lot of use cases that are happening, like in the real world, which are completely relying on capabilities of big data. If there is no big data, you will not be able to do with any of these use cases. Okay, and that's what I mean to talk about different types of data. And then this is another interesting categorization of data. So data which can be collected and cannot be processed. So what do you mean by data which can be collected and why you cannot process it? So basically, when I say it cannot be processed, it could be because of they don't know what to do with the data, basically. The reason could be they don't know what to do with the data. What to do with the data. Again, I have a wonderful example for this. Back in early 2000s, so one of the guy from Google got a wonderful idea that let's install a camera on top of a car and then click pictures of the entire world, so that I'll have a huge database of pictures where I can see any part of the globe. Okay, and everyone in the Google clapped for his idea, and they thought it's a brilliant idea. They started doing it. They have a lot of money. They didn't think twice to get that started. They started it, they were able to capture all the data. They have the huge database of photos. And now the question arises, okay, now we have all the data. What are we going to do with this data? Where are we going to leverage this data? There is no answer. The reason being they don't have a environment which would make this data utilized. Okay, and then they got the answer in late 2000s, late 2010s. Okay, so where they have identified a lot of information in each and every peak. Let's say if you take any of these peaks, each peak is having a lot of information. Like each peak is giving you information on how the traffic is around and how the facade of a particular locality is looking like, all the street signs, street numbers, whatnot. There is a lot of information. All it needs is good eyes to look into it. Okay, so what they have done is they have leveraged all this information in improving the accuracy of Google Maps. And they made Google Maps so robust that, you know, the accuracy of Google Maps would be more than 90%, I would say, at least in India. Okay, so this is what happens when you have data and when you don't know what to do with the data. Okay, data is gold at the end of the day. But now if you observe keenly, this size is nothing but the volume. The point is about the volume, the rate at which the data is getting generated, which is nothing but velocity, different types of data, where I can categorize this as variety, and finally this point, when you have data and you don't know what to do with the data, veracity. And all these four V's, these four contributes to be the four V's of big data: volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. Okay, so these four V's, or these four parameters or four characteristics forms to be the crux of big data, characteristics of big data. Okay, so let's go back to my slides. So four V's: volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. These four are the four characteristics of big data. And to get into formal definition of big data, here we go. So big data is a realization of greater business intelligence by storing, processing, and analyzing data that was previously ignored due to limitations of traditional data management technologies. What were those limitations? Those limitations are in terms of velocity, variety, and volume, veracity. As simple as that. Okay. So now let's talk about what exactly Hadoop is. So now you get to understand what exactly a big data is. So a big data can be anything which is having any of these characteristics. Okay. And big data is a relative term. Like, you know, maybe the data to my machine is big data. The same data might not be a big data for some other machine. Okay, so big data is a relative term. So when you are working on big data, your data size can be as small as GBs or as large as petabytes. So you cannot categorize, or you cannot say that the data is in GBs and I don't use Hadoop to process this. No. Okay. Now, what exactly is Hadoop? So basically, Hadoop is a framework which is implemented to deal with big data. When I say deal, in terms of two parameters, storage and processing. Hadoop is a framework which is implemented to store big data and process big data. Okay, basically Hadoop is a distributed computing environment. We do have a lot of distributed computing environments even before Hadoop came into existence, but there are a lot of shortcomings. Whereas Hadoop overcame all those shortcomings and became one of the robust, not one of the, I would say one of the best distributed computing environment where you can, you know, deal with big data. You can store big data and you can process big data. Okay, so Hadoop and big data are two different terms. Big data is your data itself. When it is big enough to handle by your machine, it's called as big data. And this Hadoop is a framework which helps you to manage your big data. When I say manage, helps you to store your big data, process your big data, and derive insights from what you have stored. Okay, as I said, it's a distributed computing environment. Okay, so like it runs on divide and conquer policy. Like I'll give you an analogy, like how exactly it works. So let's get back to your story. Like long ago, there was a king and then a minister. So this king was like a customer who asked for request, and then this minister is a powerful guy, and under this powerful guy there are a lot of soldiers. They are not as powerful as minister, but yeah, they are also they can also do what a minister can do. Okay, might not be on a big scale, but on a small scale. So one day this king wants to get the population count of his kingdom. So he calls his minister and asks him for the same. And what minister did is, minister went alone and tried to get the count of the kingdom. But after taking 10 days, he came back and reported to his king saying that the count is 10,000 and he could only cover the northern part of the kingdom. He couldn't count the southern. He couldn't get the count of southern part of the kingdom. So definitely, king was very furious about the delay he made, and he suggested him to leverage all the soldiers. When you have a lot of soldiers working under you, why do you want to do it alone? Why can't you leverage them? So the very next moment, what he did is like he divided soldiers across different regions. Like few soldiers have taken ownership on one part of the kingdom, and few soldiers have taken ownership on another part of the kingdom, few soldiers on some other part of the kingdom, and just in 10 minutes they were able to get the counts of their respective regions, and they assembled at a single place to exchange the counts and aggregate them, and they have the results 15,000, which includes all the parts of the kingdom. So here the minister is analogous to a powerful machine, a single powerful machine. So when I say single powerful machine, it could be IBM's mainframe or it could be any other powerful machine. And when I compare these soldiers are pretty much analogous to the low-end hardware. When I say low-end hardware, we call them as cheaper hardware, commodity hardware. Commodity hardware is the term we use to define the hardware we are going to use for big data. So what we are doing here is, instead of investing a lot of amount on a high-end machine, and we are investing some amount of money on multiple low-end machines and making them work together to give us a result. Okay, this is one parameter which has attracted a lot of companies, because with the growth in data you cannot scale up your machine every time, but with growth in data you can add more number of you can add more number of computer low-end machines. I'll explain exactly what I mean by that. So for example, today in your company you have 100 TB data. 100 TB data. By the end of 1 year, you have forecasted it to become 150 TB. 150 TB. So what you did is, you have bought a 200 TB hard disk and stored everything in this 200 TB hard disk. Okay. But unfortunately what happened is, within 1.5 years, your data size has gone to 250 TB. Your data size have gone to 250 TB. Okay. So when your data size have, when your data explosion is not as per your prediction or not as per your forecast. Okay. So now what you'll have to do? You'll have to buy a new hard disk which is having capacity more than 250 TB, and maybe at the end of second year your data size have gone to 350 TB. Now again you'll have to go and procure a hard disk which is having size more than 350 TB. You buy 450 TB or you buy 1 PB, 1 petabyte or maybe 10 petabyte. At the end of some year, that would be of no use. The reason being, you cannot predict the rate of data explosion. It's exponential these days. So instead, there is another approach. Now what I would do is, I'll buy 2 machines, or I would buy maybe 3 machines, or maybe 4 machines, 4 computers of 50 TB each. 50 TB each. So maybe by the end of next year, if your data growth is like 250 TB, what I would do is, I would add maybe 4 more machines of 50 TB each. So depending on the data explosion rate, I would keep on adding machines. Okay, here I'm reusing already existing machines. I'm not scaling up the existing system. I'm not scaling up one single existing system. Here what I'm doing is, instead, I'm adding up the low-end machines every time my data is growing, which looks like a feasible solution to most of the organizations. So they are behind big data, obviously, for the same reason. Okay, so one best thing about big data is scalability. Okay, so with your data growth, there is always scope for scalability, and the way it handles the data is the most effective way. Okay, so this is about big data, this is about Hadoop, and when I talk about Hadoop Framework, I also wanted to introduce a couple of other terms to you. So we have 2 major components. One is HDFS, and second one is MapReduce. So HDFS, the acronym for HDFS is Hadoop Distributed File System. And the acronym for MapReduce is MapReduce itself. So basically, this HDFS is a storage mechanism of Hadoop environment, and this MapReduce is processing mechanism of Hadoop environment. Okay, so in short, you can say that Hadoop is equals to HDFS plus MapReduce, as simple as that, where HDFS would let you to store your larger files in a distributed fashion, and MapReduce would let you to process your data in a distributed fashion. So if you study about HDFS and MapReduce, you are all good to know to work on Hadoop. Okay. Now that we have seen all the aspects of big data, difference between big data and Hadoop. Hadoop is a framework, big data is the data itself. So you would call yourself as a Hadoop developer or big data engineer. Okay, and we talked about characteristics, we talked about importance of big data, and at the end of the day, if you ask me why do I need to learn big data, my answer in one word would be fat salary and demand. Okay, maybe for a Java role, if for one position, if 1,000 people apply, when it comes to big data, for one position, you will hardly see a competition of 10 to 20 people, not more than that. Clearing interview would be easy, and you'll also get a fat salary. As simple as that. And demand for this big data is going to increase like anything in next few years. And for an obvious reason, which you could see, the data explosion. Okay. And let me also talk about few applications, guys. Few applications in the sense, I would love to talk about use cases I have worked on. Okay. So one use case I have worked on, one interesting use case is early warning system. So this early warning system is something which we have developed for Nissan client. So the use case is pretty simple. There are sensors which are installed on your engines, car engines, and they generate data continuously, which we call as OBD data. So the full form of OBD is onboard diagnostics. Onboard diagnostics data. Okay. So basically, this onboard diagnostics data will have a lot of features like the temperature state of your engine, and then fuel status of your engine, climatic conditions, and different aspects of it. Okay. So, and then we have DTC. So DTC is nothing but diagnostic trouble code. Diagnostic trouble code. So, you'll have different diagnostic trouble codes for each of the different failure conditions. So, for example, you have DTC code 1 for one engine failure type, DTC code 2 for another engine failure type, DTC code 3 for another engine failure type. Okay, so you have multiple diagnostic trouble codes. Okay, so the aim of this project is to prepare a model and then use that model to predict when your engine is going to get failed. So for example, based on this OBD data, like you will be emitting live data when you are driving your car. So based on that live data, we'll try to match that live data with the historic data present in our database, in Hadoop database, and then see if that is matching with any failed condition data of your engine. Okay, and when we get that, we'll trigger an alert to you saying that, boss, in next few days, maybe in 3 days or maybe in a week, you are going to run into this particular issue, so better you get it serviced. So this is like early warning. Like we are trying to figure out when your engine, or we are trying to predict when your engine is going to get screwed up, and we are sending you an alert and warning you to get it serviced. Okay, so this is a wonderful use case which we have done for Nissan. And second use case I wanted to talk about is Telematics. So Telematics is a project which we have done for our insurance client. So it comes with a tagline, pay as you drive. Okay, so the funda is pretty simple here. We have few sensors installed on your mobile phone which would help us to track your driving patterns. Okay, the moment you install Telematics app in your mobile, when you are driving your car, it will track the patterns, your driving patterns. Okay, so based on your driving patterns, we give you some score. Okay, on a scale of 10, and using this score, we'll calculate an aggregate score. Like you'll get a score for every trip. You'll get an aggregated score for all the trips you have taken in a day, in a week, in a month, in a quarter, and in a year. So in a year, the score which you get at the end of every year would be the final score of yours. Okay, and then based on that score, we categorize you as 3 different drivers: good driver, bad driver, and a normal driver. So when you are categorized as a good driver, you will end up paying less amount than what other drivers or what other categories paid. Normal drivers, so they'll not get any benefit out of it. Bad drivers, they will end up paying more than what is anticipated. Okay, so this is something which we have done for one of the tech giant and one of the insurance giant, TD Bank, and this is live now. This project is live now. Okay, again, we have used BigData. The reason being, a lot of data is getting generated. So with the traditional ecosystem, we will not be able to handle this amount of data. Okay, this is one beautiful example, guys. And third project which I wanted to discuss is ROI, return on investment, or an attribution model. Attribution model. So this is something which we have done for Google. So coming to this attribution model, so there would be a journey associated with each and every customer before he become a potential customer of Google. So for example, there is a Google product. It could be Google Cloud Platform, GCP. Okay, and you wanted to see how GCP is doing these days and plan something, whether to procure or whether to use it as a trial to see the capabilities of GCP, whatnot. Okay, and how you get in touch with the sales team of Google will give you a path. Like you have clicked on an advertisement in Facebook, you have clicked on an advertisement in Google, and then you have replied to a mail subscription. Sorry, if you have, you have replied to a mail sent by Google. Okay, so this is like series of steps you are doing, and each and every step is having a weightage. Okay, that is what we call return on investment. Like, Google do perform a lot of events like Google Next event, and then Google campaigns, and emails. A lot of promotion mails would be sent on Google products. Okay, so these are all different channels of Google where they are marketing their products, and each of these channels have different contribution towards converting customers, converting people to their customers. Okay, based on that contribution, we are basically using this model. We are trying to calculate that contribution. So based on these contribution values, in the next quarter or maybe in the next half, Google can invest accordingly. So for example, if they see maybe next event is doing really good, okay, they would go ahead and invest a lot of amount on next event rather than investing it on any social media analytics. Okay, so again, in order to do this use case, we have leveraged big data, because how much customer base Google is having across the globe. Will not be able to do it using a traditional ecosystem. So there are a lot of interesting projects. Likewise, like one project we have done for Heathrow Airport. It's a real-time project again to optimize crowd at each and every gate by analyzing what flights are getting departed from each of the gates and at what time to what destination, and when a particular gate is so crowdy, what are the gates that were not that crowdy, and then distribute this population and reorganize their flight departures. So this kind of analysis we did on airlines data provided by Heathrow, and you'll be surprised to know the data source. So if you ask us how we have identified where a particular customer is present, like if a customer, how can you say that a customer is boarding a flight from gate number X? Okay, it's on his coordinates. So the coordinates are coming from the Wi-Fi connection he got connected to. So every passenger in airport is connected to the Heathrow Airport Wi-Fi, and this Wi-Fi would help us. This Wi-Fi helped us to track the coordinates of each and every passenger. Okay, so based on those coordinates, we calculated the crowd at each and every gate and did the analysis accordingly. Okay, hey guys, just give me a second. Yeah, and we also did a lot of use cases on IoT as well, Internet of Things, where we have optimized AC chillers to save the power. I mean, to save the power consumption. That's one use case we did using IoT. And we have developed a smart home sensors using IoT. Again, it's a big data platform. So there is no stopping when it comes to IoT applications. Okay.
Suresh, we can't hear you. Are you not?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? If you want, we can take a quick break of 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then we can rejoin, and then after that we can talk about the course and the question and take some Q&As. What do you say?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So guys, this is all I have for webinar. I mean the technical content. So let's take a break, and once we come back, I'll walk you through the course content, and I'll explain how each and every topic would help you to deal with real-time problems, and probably then I'll take Q&A.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yes,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
that sounds good. So thank you so much. So let's take a 5-minute break, guys. And meanwhile, if anybody is interested, I would like to introduce myself and also those people who are new to ALMPG. I also like to introduce ALMPG platform to you all. So let me quickly share my screen and let me show you guys what is ALMPG about, what do we stand for, and what are we trying to do. So give me a moment. Let me first share my screen. Meanwhile, Suresh will get a chance to take a breath. I know he has been working a lot. So tell me this, are you guys able to see my screen? Okay. Was there a yes or no? What was that? Yes, you guys can able to see my screen. Okay, so ALMPG platform is for the community here, minority community here in America. We are trying to create a difference and help the community out. So the main purpose of this group is to help each other out with finding job, providing training, and it's we can search up for accommodation, look for a direct job. The main motive we started for this is that if I work in a company and I work in a team where I see that there is a job opening, rather than finding somebody from the outside, I'll put that post on ALMPG, giving my community members a chance to apply for that job. So that's how we came into existence, and we started this group and this organization. So alhamdulillah, by mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we now have more than 6,000 members, all professionals. We have members from other communities too, which we welcome, more than welcome them to join our community and help each other out. So we do a lot of free sessions, free webinars, and also we also have the guidance program, where if you are a fresher and if you are looking for guidance, so you can request for mentorship here. So you have to become a member. Once you are a member, you can log into the platform and you can discover about mentorship. So you will find here the list of mentors, and here is the info. You can request a mentorship from those seniors, who have 10 plus, 5 plus, or 15 plus years of experience. Kind of get to know them, and they can help you create a career path for you all. So that's what you can do with that. And if you are looking for a job, or if you need some help, just kind of put up a postman here. So it's all free. It's a free platform. You can just put up a post, give a title, what is your requirement, what are you looking at. People can help you out. And your email or your post reaches out to inbox of more than 6,000 people, and you never know who can help you out. So this is more kind of a community give and take a platform. So if you need help, you can request help. If you want to help somebody out, why not? This is a good platform. Go ahead, help somebody out. Also, this is not just for the job, or this is not just for putting up queries. Also on ALMPG, we are encouraging entrepreneurs. So ALMPG is becoming a hub for entrepreneurs or minority businessmen who are coming on the platform, and they are utilizing the platform. So this is a platform where we are creating opportunity by connecting people. Whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you hold a business, whether you hold a company, and you are or whether you are a job seeker or an experienced person, we have something for everybody. So that's what the platform come into existence, that it's a kind of we are trying to create an ecosystem where everybody can help each other out. So this is an open platform. Feel free to join in. So those people who are new, just a brief introduction so that you guys are aware what is going on. And also in a coming few weeks, a couple of weeks, we are trying we're starting the startup council for entrepreneurs who have ideas and they want to kind of kickstart their business. So inshallah, we'll try to create this startup council, or we are still kind of looking for a good name. So we are thinking about startup incubator, where we are trying to create a platform where we can help all the students or anybody who is coming up with an idea to kind of refine their idea and provide them with feedback and resources, or if you are looking for somebody to invest into your idea. So that's what we are trying to find it. So that will be also a free thing. So you can just, if you have a good idea, you can become a part of that group too. It will be on this website itself. We will open up a new module which will be for entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs can bring up their idea, and we can, inshallah, help you guys out, because ALMPG is striving hard to develop the community. See, the thing is that, our masjids, our mosque, or our, religious institution are doing a good job in religiously developing us. But nobody is taking care of developing Muslims or the minorities here in America on a professional level or entrepreneur level. So that's where we come in. We thought that, this is a big gap in the community. We should find a solution for it. So that's where we got, so we sat down together and we said, okay, let's introduce ALMPG, where we can try to help the job seekers or professionals, or also entrepreneurs and businesses who need people, who need customers. So in the same way, this session was conducted for Brother Mo Medwani. He is a Muslim entrepreneur. He started his company called BBDS, Big Bang Data Science. So he kind of find a gem in the community like Suresh, and they come in and they give you the training. They provide you with expert training, so you can grow in any field you are looking for. So this is a brief introduction about ALMPG. So if you haven't registered yet, feel free to register on it. We have our Facebook page. We have our YouTube channel. So subscribe us, and this is kind of a small introduction about ALMPG. Let me put it on.
Or someone looking to get back to the community, ALMPG is the right place for you. ALMPG is a vast and robust platform where you are offered help for people with similar interests. Our volunteer members, recruiters, trainers, and marketers will help you in career development and take better decisions. If you don't need help, maybe you can be a beacon of light to others. With ALMPG, you can find internal, refer, and direct jobs, pose questions, get answers from experienced folks, request for technical and non-technical assistance, find roommate when you're moving to new cities, connect with mentors and other professionals and build your network, find employers, recruiters, and trainers, write comments or respond to posts or questions. Employers and recruiters can list jobs and hire potential candidates. Businesses and trainers can market their services. So start excelling today with ALMPG, building connections and creating opportunities.
So, that was a little bit about ALMPG, kind of giving you guys an introduction what we are trying to do. So this is mostly towards building up a strong professional community here in America. We also launched our platform back in India. So if anybody is there in India, so you can become a part of ALMPG in India too. So, okay guys, so I think that's a little bit about ALMPG. So let's call back Suresh. Suresh, whenever you are ready, let us know. I will kind of, pass you the ball again, and let's discuss in more detail about the course, what you are offering, what Brother Mo Medwani is offering, okay? Suresh, you are unmuted. Okay, whenever you are ready, we are ready, okay?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Also, Suresh, I would like to also give an example of how we in my company utilizing big data, right? So I work for a healthcare company. So we have one of the largest healthcare company in America. So we get this lot of data, right? During the flu season, we get this hundreds and thousands of people coming in for flu in all the facility here in California. So what we did, we collected all the data, we kind of refined the data and look it up, kind of created a dashboard with the data, finding where are the most flu shots taken. And if we know that this is a particular facility where people go for flu shot and it is busy during that season, so what we did, we kind of employed more doctors there, or pushing more nurses or people who can, the medical professionals, so that we can accommodate those patients. So big data is seriously a good place to start, and it is helping a lot of helping us solve a lot of business problems, which we are still looking for solutions. So it is yet to discover, I believe. We have been using big data in our company from almost 4 or 5 years now, but still I think there is a lot to learn about big data. It's not a small thing.
True.
But I would say this, and not just talking about your course or not talking about anything else, but anybody who wants to go, who loves data, who wants to kind of grow big into IT, big data is a good start. There is a lot you can learn in big data. It doesn't matter even if you think you are not a coder, you don't want to work on SQL, that's fine. Go into analytics. You can become a kind of create the report or dashboards, right? I'm a kind of a person more on the business side, Suresh. So I'm not a technical person, right? Writing the SQL course.
Yeah.
So I kind of generate reports, talk to the business user, gather the requirement, kind of leading the team of the developers. So if there is everything you can do in big data, there is a lot of scope, and also there is a lot of good future in big data. All the previous technologies are coming to a point where they're going to end and new technologies are coming out. So, but big data is needed for all this technology. So I believe there is no end for big data. So those who are freshers or those who are planning to switch jobs or switch their careers, I think big data is a good start. So if you guys have any other question, You want to add something, Suresh? Go ahead.
Yeah, so big data is something which have a lot of roles to offer. So if you are not, like Ahmad said, if you are not a coder, if you don't like coding, if you are good with SQL, you want to analyze your data, you want to see how your data is doing. So you can be that. Or if you are from networking background or maybe from administration background, you can find a suitable role for yourself, like setting up this Hadoop and then doing all the administration stuff. Like he said, maybe you are a business person where you want to get your dashboards done and you want to do some experiments with your data. Again, like you can also do that. So there is nothing stopping you except the passion. Like you should have the passion towards data, and you always have the hunger to play with the data. And there is one famous quote which I love a lot. Let me type it for you. I don't want to spell it.
Okay, perfect. I can see your screen now. Everybody else can see the screen? I guess yes. Answer is yes.
So this is one of the quotes which I love a lot. This is one quote which I love a lot.
Torture them enough, they will tell you. That is funny, but it talks a lot about data. That is fine, but data are like people. Torture them enough, they will tell you everything. Yes, that is absolutely correct, my friend. Yes, we have been torturing data from last 2-3 years. So thank you. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. In fact, I'm gonna write that down for my team and put it on my desk. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I do it every day. Like before starting my job every day, I would just read this quote and then start my job. Because see, at the end of the day, it's your capabilities to extract the information from the data. But data can give you everything. All you need to have is the view, a proper view at your data. Right.
Right. Yes, you're correct. You're correct. And also, Suresh, it's not everybody knows that, and those who are working in big data, they get paid pretty well here in US or back in India. The salary packages are pretty awesome. So that is also, as you said in the beginning, that is also a kind of motivation for people to get into big data. I think it's one of the highest paid technology in the world. So there is
I would say right now it's the highest paid. It's not one of the highest paid. It's the highest paid right now.
Yeah.
Earlier
Nice.
it used to
No,
be data scientist and data science role, but it's now big data engineer.
Right. All right, Suresh, let's open up the floor for, I would like to give you a chance to explain a little bit more about what are the course you are offering and what do you want to kind of teach the audience in future. So if you can talk a little bit
Sure.
about the course, that will help our members.
Sure.
If they are interested, they can reach out to Brother Mohammad Wani.
True. I'll do that.
Sure, go ahead.
So, let me walk you through the course, guys. So, this is a 7-week course, 7 to 8 week course. So, here is the content. Like in the first week, we'll start with introduction to big data, and I'll also talk about HDFS, like where we'll get into the storage aspects of big data. Like we have discussed, larger files are stored on multiple machines in a distributed fashion. We'll see how. And I also told you that HDFS is one of the robust ecosystems to store the data in distributed computing environment. So why it is robust? What are the features that made HDFS robust? So all these features will be discussing, like introduction to big data, why big data, and then 4 V's. Maybe this could be a repetition till introduction to Hadoop. But from here, topic starts. And we'll be using Cloudera Quickstart VM to run Hadoop. To develop Hadoop programs in your machine. I'll show you installation steps, setting up, and then Hadoop commands, etc. in the first week. And the second week, we'll jump onto the processing methodology, which is MapReduce. So I'll explain what exactly is a MapReduce framework, what are the APIs we have, and then we do some analysis on interesting data sets. Like we'll start with a basic workdown program, which is like hello world program in big data, and then we'll implement inverted index algorithm, the algorithm used by Google to store their search engine data. The same algorithm we'll try to implement using big data. And then I have an extract of Titanic data, so the data of Titanic ship, where we do some analysis, some funny analysis, like what is the average age of male and female dead, and what is the count of passengers who were survived in each class, like how many passengers survived from first class, how many passengers survived from second class, kind of some interesting examples. And then I'll talk about different execution engines available for MapReduce, and then different concepts. And then we'll move to advanced MapReduce concepts. I don't want to, get into the in-depth detail and confuse you. But once we got till this stage, you'll be able to understand the technical terms here in advanced MapReduce. So these are few advanced MapReduce concepts. And next step is Hive. So Hive is like pretty much analogous to your data warehouse. So data warehouse is a data in table with a small data set. Hive is a data in a table with large data. And both of them are dealing with historic data, not with the transaction data. Again, if you guys are new to these terminologies, once you get into our course, I'll start with the definition of data. Okay, so we'll start from the very basics. We'll not teach you directly big data, so you don't really need to worry about that. So we'll talk about Hive and what are the differences between Hive and RDBMS, and then what are the different tables available, and different characteristics of Hive and whatsoever. And then we have week 5. So we have PIG and NoSQL databases. So these are two process. This PIG is a processing methodology again, which will use MapReduce at the backend. And coming to this NoSQL databases, this is like database, Hadoop database, where you store data. Not a traditional database, it's a NoSQL database. And finally, we get into data ingestion part. Like whatever we have been seeing till now is data storage and data processing. But there is one question, like how you are actually getting your data from the source to Hadoop environment. I know we are using Hadoop to store and processing your data, but how you are connecting your source, because the sources of data could be different. Like we have discussed a lot of sources today. So how you are going to get those data, get that data to your Hadoop? We'll study that in this week 6. And week 7 is the advanced paradigm of MapReduce, which is called Spark. We'll talk about Spark. We'll discuss a lot of examples. We'll try to replicate the same examples what we have done in MapReduce using Spark. And the course duration is approximately 42 hours. It's not exact 42 hours. It might extend till 49 hours based on your understanding, because we won't rush, and we are not very strict on deadlines. Okay, so it's all about your understanding. We are free to explain your doubts. The more doubts you ask, the more prolonged duration you'll have. We are absolutely okay with that. Okay, but for a estimation, we have kept 42 hours here, but it could go until 49 hours. And these are the tool set we are using, we are going to use. I'm using, we'll use VirtualBox, we'll use Cloudera Quickstart VM, and I'll also show you a live demo using Google Cloud Platform. This is a cloud service. So where we'll run some queries where we'll set up a Hadoop ecosystem in Google Cloud Platform, and run couple of jobs there just for a demo purpose. And these are the programming languages we are going to use. Core Java for MapReduce. I'll tell you what topics are required. If you are from a non-programming background, don't worry about that. We'll take care of it, because we'll explain each and every line of the code. Okay, you don't really need to worry about that. And then we need Scala for Spark. Again, like if you are not from a if you are from a non-programming background, we are absolutely fine. These are like prerequisites. If you have, that's good. If you don't have, it's still good. SQL for Hive and Spark SQL. Okay, so that's how it is. Like we have discussed, Hadoop has a lot of roles to offer. It depends on what you want to take. If you are good at programming, Java, Scala, you go with Apache Spark or basic MapReduce. If you are good at data warehousing concepts, ETL and SQL stuff, you can go ahead with Hive. Okay, so likewise, if you are good with dashboarding stuff, you can go with a Data Studio or whatever. Okay, so these are different roles which Hadoop can offer, and this is what we have in store for you in our course. Maybe we can add few more topics as well by the time we start.
Thank you, Suresh. Suresh, I must say that this is a very intense course, by the way. I don't know how people will able to kind of complete it, but it is a very intense course, and I think it will give them a lot of knowledge about Hadoop and what really big data is. Yes, all the things you are talking about currently in my project, I am using it. Not in depth. We have separate people for it, but I have idea about all the things, and I think it is required in big data to know at least the background. Even though if you are not working, if you have the background, that will really help you. Some of the things here I hear in my team, my team talking about it, but I don't really know what does that mean or what does it do. Like a data ingestion or pig or no SQL database. These are some things I would love to learn, and I'm actually thinking to take your course, by the way. So hopefully,
course, bro.
Yeah, so definitely. So let me just get in Brother Mo Medwani, who is the founder of Big Bang Data, and let's hear a word out from him. What does he think about the course and how he can help the community out? Okay, Brother Mo, I'm gonna kind of unmute you, and you can talk about the course.
Okay, brother, thank you so much. Can you please give me a way to share my screen?
Sure. Let me pass you the ball. Okay.
Okay, I'm downloading. So should I click on? Okay. Okay, brother, where do I need to go to share my screen? Oh, okay, it's still loading.
Okay, try now. Okay. What can you see on my screen? What do you guys see? Icons or PPT?
Yeah, I can see PPT. Contact.
Okay,
Contact
yes,
slide.
yes. Yes, I want to add this also, Brother Mohammed Wani. Alhamdulillah, he has been very generous to us. So those who are interested in the course, just kind of you can contact him through the email or phone. And those members, Alhamdulillah, ALMPG members, those who are interested, inshallah, give this discount code to him. Inshallah, he will offer you guys a 10% discount on all the course offering, the amount. So inshallah, you can utilize this code, write it down, ALMPG 10, and forward it to Brother Mohammed Wani, inshallah.
Okay.
So let's give him a chance to talk. Let me know, Brother Mo, when you are ready. Oh,
I'm
yes,
ready, but I need to know how to share my screen, brother. That's the problem.
Yes, we can see your screen. You are showing up your screen. Yes.
Okay, you see this? Oh, okay, good. Okay. So, brothers and sisters, yeah, thank you, ALMPG, for this great webinar, and thank you, Brother Suresh, for your time. It's great. Alhamdulillah, this is how we can help the community, to learn. We share the knowledge, we share the experience with one another, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Alhamdulillah. So, brothers and sisters, again, thank you for joining this webinar, and thank you for the time. And I'm Mohammed Wani, a data scientist. I have 3 master degrees. I have an MBA, a master degree in data science, and a master degree in IT. And I'm working towards my PhD in data science, inshallah. So please make a dua for me. I'm the founder of Big Bang Data Science Solution, where we train in data science, data analytics, all aspects, including big data, data visualization, R programming, R for data science, Tableau, data visualization, NLP, anything you might think of related to data science. And the reason why we started this for the community is simply because we believe that data science is the future. If you have the skills required, you have the future in your hand. And every business across the country, across the globe, who don't have the analytical team, they will be out of the market pretty much soon. So there is a lot of demands in data science, and this is just the right time for you brothers and sisters to jump in and learn the technology. So inshallah, we have please don't register yet, because if you register, you are not going to get the discounts, provided through the ALMPG. Inshallah, we are going to get the registration form ready before the end of next week, and probably around Monday, Tuesday, and we are going to share it with you guys, so you can register and just use the code ALMPG10. You'll get 10%. And it is something that I really want to share with you. If you complete the program, you can repeat at no cost. And also, if you are interested in any other program, you will get more discounts since you complete one of the previous programs. That's number one. Number two, we will help you, inshallah, with interview preparation. We will help you with job placement, and if you are not satisfied with the training, you will get the money back guarantee. Not kidding. So the reason why I'm saying this is because I know for sure you will be satisfied, inshallah, with the training. You will get the best training, and you will be ready to land the job in data science. So this is our website. It's very simple, bbds.ma. Or the previous one is Big Bang Data Science Solution. They are the same, but I really want you to use bbds.ma, if you see. And later on, this week, inshallah, we are going to share the registration form. All we want to do is go to registration and register, but please don't register now, because you are going to miss the discount, and there is no way I can give it to you. So please wait for registration. But if you have any information, any question, concern, please, or if you are interested in the program, you want to receive an invite to register, please ping me or send me an email to mo.midwani@bigbangdatascience.com, or just ping me through WhatsApp 678-209-9780, and I'm going to pass the floor to your brother Ahmed, and it's yours. Thank you guys one more time.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Mohammed Wani. Jazakallah khair for coming in. And I know this is a lot. I have never seen anybody offering a course and they say that, it's a money back guarantee. Nobody says that. And I have trained myself from quite some people, online and also in person, but nobody tells that. So that's a big thing. So Jazakallah khair. So now I think this is time to take some questions. Can you guys see my screen now? So I'm going to put the session in Q&A mode. So any brother or sister, if you guys have any question for Brother Mo or Brother Suresh or for ALMPG team, let us know. Okay. So I'm gonna put this session to Q&A. Okay. You can opt for asking a question. Okay. I see a lot of people joining in for Q&A. Question. Okay, I'm going to unmute you. So be ready with your question. I am going to unmute. The first person is Brother Tahir. So I'm going to unmute you. You can ask your question, okay? Go ahead, Brother Tahir. Ask your question. You have been unmuted. If you want to put it in the chat box, that's fine. Yes, I think what is the price before discount? Brother Medwani, do you want to answer that question? Oh, sorry, I have not unmuted you. Okay, Brother Medwani, go ahead and answer that question.
So the price is not finalized yet, but inshallah, I promise we are going to make it affordable for the Ummah. Plus, as I said, you are going to get discount through the LMPG. So we will help you, inshallah. And we have a payment plan. If you cannot afford, the payment, the fee, we have payment plan where you will be able, to pay, in installment, inshallah.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great. So if you guys have more question on the pricing, so reach out to him by the end of next week, and hopefully, inshallah, he will be able to provide that. And yes, let's take second question.
Yeah, in regards to the timing, this is 2 months. 2 months course is going to start on Sunday the end of the month, Sunday the 31st probably, or 30th, and it's going to end at the end, the 1st of December. So, but for the timing, I am going to leave Suresh to talk about it.
Okay, perfect. So let me take another question from KA. I don't know your sister or brother. Go ahead, ask your question. I have unmuted you. KA, you have a question? If you want to put it in the chat box, feel free to do that. Or is this fine? Okay. I think he is not ready, he or she. So I'm gonna take the next call. Next question from Brother Syed Afzal. Go ahead, brother. You have the mic now. You can talk.
Yeah. So, assalamu alaikum to everyone, and thanks for this webinar. And my question is, I'm more from administration side. I worked as a AX administrator. So, will there be any different course for administration, or this is kind of a one to-go course for everything?
What was your question again, brother? I mean, I barely heard you.
Yeah, so
no, his question, let me pose that question, Brother Syed, on behalf of you. Brother Medwani, he is asking, he's more from the side of administration. So he want to know if you guys are offering any course towards big data administration. Is that correct, Brother Syed?
Yeah, just to add, like setting up Hadoop clusters, more like a Unix administrator,
Let me open up Suresh also. Let me unmute him. Suresh, if you can answer that question, does your course cover administration part 2? Suresh, you can talk. I have unmuted you. Oh, no. Hold on. My bad, Suresh. I have unmuted your email address. Let me unmute your number. Okay. Okay, Suresh,
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you so much. Sorry about that.
So yeah. So this course is purely Hadoop developer course. But for your question, I don't know how long you have been into administration. It depends on your instinct. Like if you want to stick to what you already know, that's fine. But if you want to do a career switch from administration to developer, we will definitely welcome you. But this course doesn't cover any administration aspects.
Okay, it's more towards development.
Yes.
Okay, but you should think about starting a course on administration too soon. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, perfect. Let's take another caller. Brother Syed, did you got your answer?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you for asking question. Let's take another question from Brother Khan, 1971. Okay, go ahead, Brother Khan. I have unmuted you. You can talk now. If not, put in your question in the chat box. Feel free. Okay, Jazakallah khair. Okay, let's take another question, from Brother Faisal Kareem. Brother Faisal, go ahead. Ask your question, please.
No, my question was the same thing with the price, so I'm okay with that right now.
Okay, perfect. See, they are still in a process to kind of finalize the course. That's what I say. But what I have noticed from Brother Medwani that his courses are always reasonable compared to what you get from outside, and plus the course they are offering is intense course that covers everything from development point. I have been working in this field and I know what he showed in that Microsoft document, Suresh. It covers almost 99% of the aspect of big data with Hadoop, if you want to learn in that sense. So email him maybe next week, Brother Mo Medwani. What do you say? If people email you, or are you going to put it on your website? So just update them, or reach out to him on his WhatsApp. So please update the people. Okay, perfect. Okay, I have one more question here from Shama. Sister Shama, go ahead, ask your question. Okay, I think she dropped off, so that's fine. So let me take another question from Brother Khan. Brother Khan, I'm unmuting you once again. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's take some questions from the chat box. Brother Medwani, if you can see questions in the chat box, one of the brother is asking, is the course conducted on weekends or weekdays? Suresh, how do you want to do this course, weekdays or weekends?
So it depends on majority of the participants here. We are flexible. Like we are not very stringent on that process. So maybe most of our participants wanted it to happen on weekdays. We can have a 1 hour session every day. If they wanted to, if they wanted us to do it on weekends, we can have a 3 hour session or a 3 hour session on each of the weekday with a 15-minute break.
Okay, perfect. 2 hour session. Yes, I think that should be fine. Those people who are, I think Suresh, my advice would be, let's do, try to do it on weekends. So those people who are working people, they can also join your course, and at the end of the week, they can kind of take the course. I know during the weekdays, it might be a little tough, even for students. They have classes on weekdays. But on weekend, I think everybody is available, maybe Saturday or maybe Sunday afternoon. So up to you guys, so decide. So, okay, if there are no other questions, inshallah, I can end up the session. Just let me know.
Brother Ahmed, can you please give me 1 minute?
Yes, go ahead, take your time.
Yeah, just I want to highlight these brothers and sisters. It doesn't. Hello, can you guys hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Regardless of what your decision would be, please, brothers and sisters, go ahead and invest in learning data science and big data. Simply, it's the future. This data science, big data is a rewarding career. Means depends on how much time, effort you put in educating yourself, you will get your money back. Guaranteed. In the future. So, brothers and sisters, invest in learning data science. Don't worry about the timing. Don't worry about the job. Don't worry about the price. You have to invest in learn data science. It's the future, period.
Perfect. No, that is actually what I was about to say at the end. It doesn't matter, guys, where you learn from it. If you want to learn from Brother Mohammed Wani, alhamdulillah, you get a lot of support. If you want to learn from somewhere else, go ahead, learn it. But the point being raised here is that go learn these technologies. We don't have a lot of our community member learning this technology. People coming from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, or any other the minorities here in America, not a lot of people learn about big data. So go ahead, invest your time, invest your money. Believe me, if the money you are investing towards big data or learning this technology is nothing, you will get that money in just like 1 week when you start your job. Not even 1 week, I think 2-3 days. You will get that money, you will earn back that money. But I will say, kickstart your career. If you are looking for a bright and good future career, this is a good career. If you are a data guy and if you like to kind of solve problems, this is pretty interesting. I myself, I am a kind of BI, so it's interesting to solve these business solutions. Like instance, I'll give you one quick example and then we will end the session. Last week I had a meeting with one of the lab directors here in Los Angeles, and he was saying that, Dawood, tell me, by the way, my name is Dawood Ahmed. I haven't had a chance really to introduce myself. I am a part of ALMPG team. So he said to me, Dawood, I need to find out how, in this particular, in my lab, in a specific time, how many tests we perform, who was the person who collected the specimen, who was the person who ran that, verified that specimen, so that, he can go back to that person and ask them if they were not kind of, productive. He can go back to the report or dashboard and he can see, okay, this guy was working and he kind of tested out only 10 tests in 2 hours. That is not going to work. So they're going to go back to that person and tell them, okay, you need to improve, or they're going to ask or help them. So this is the way, this is kind of investigation. This is kind of, you are motivating yourself to find the results. So I enjoyed it. And, when I gave him the report, the results, and he loved it. And he's like, okay, this makes my job really easy. So big data, the data science and big data is just a start of this. Ultimately, you are going to solve a business problem. So invest your time, your effort, and your money. Little money, I think it's very little money to invest in a long-term career. So I encourage all my members, all my brothers and sisters, no matter what community, what religion, caste, sect you are coming from, you are joining today. Please learn big data and create a future for yourself, and just work hard, man. So if you guys have any, at last, if you guys want to support us in any way, ALMPG, become a member, partner with us, or advertise, volunteer, or spread the word about ALMPG, and also if you guys have any questions, concern, or suggestion, please provide your suggestions at moderator@almpg.com. Okay, so then I think this is the end of the session. I want to end the session with the dua, and before I do that, let me thank Brother Mo and his team, Brother Suresh. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in today and educating us about big data, and we really appreciate that. And also once again, thank you, Brother Medwani, for giving ALMPG member the discount code. This is going to really help our member. 10% off on the whole course. It's really a big thing. I know you don't give discount to a lot of people, but thank you so much for looking out for the ALMPG community. So also, if that is done, inshallah, I would like to end the session with the dua. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair, brothers and sisters, for joining in. This was your brother Dawood Ahmed with ALMPG team, Brother Ilyas, Brother Abdul Wahab, and Brother Riyaz, saying goodbye. Inshallah, we will see you guys in our next session. By the way, just to give you guys a heads up, inshallah, next weekend I'm going to do a webinar on resume workshop and career building. Inshallah, that would be a free session. Please join us. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.